Can you really experience the best of Ratchaburi in just 2 days? Over the next 2 days, we're going to discover some incredible limestone cliffs, try one of Ratchaburi's most famous dishes, visit a market where monks float down the river, and even find ourselves watching sheep jump through a ring of fire. And at the end, I'll show you exactly how much this entire 2-day trip cost us. So let's get started. We're travelling on this trip with a group of friends. And with our trusty driver Jaman behind the wheel and little Bruno strapped in, we set off from Bangkok to Ratchaburi, which was about a 2-hour drive away. And Ratchaburi is a province with a population of 864,000 people. And the first place that we'll be visiting here is Hin Khao Ngu Park, which translates to Snake Mountain Rock Park. On the roundabout at the entrance to the park, you can see the giant statue of a snake. It's commonly believed to protect the rivers, lakes and waterways and guard sacred places. But despite the name, you're more likely to spot breathtaking limestone cliffs than any snakes these days, although we will keep an eye out, don't want any to bite little Bruno. And one of the most popular things to do here is feeding the fish, which we'll go and do shortly. These fish love bread, which you can buy near the entrance of the park. And another popular activity is to hire a paddle boat. A go on one of those will cost you 60 baht for 20 minutes. Although with a busy day ahead, we opted to stay on dry land for now. Before we explore the park further, it was hard for the ladies to resist a group photo opportunity, especially with those views in the background. And an added bonus to this place is that there's no entrance fees here, which makes it an easy stop for any Ratchaburi itinerary. And now it was little Bruno's turn to feed the fish. And armed with our pre-bought green-coloured bread, he threw it into the lake like he was pitching in the World Series, and the fish certainly got the memo. But the highlight for us was crossing the suspension bridge. From up here you get incredible views across the lake, with the limestone cliffs rising behind it. And just to make the walk across even better, we were serenaded by a local musician playing his guitar. And we only had time to explore the lake and the bridge area, but Hin Khao Ngu Park is much bigger than we expected. And if you come here with kids like us, there's also a play area next to the car park, as well as some food stalls in case you get a bit hungry. And speaking of hunger, we'd worked up an appetite just in time for our next stop, which we'll head to now, which was just a short drive from here to Phahon View Restaurant. But before sitting down for lunch, we decided to go and explore this restaurant's beautiful gardens with winding paths.
It's safe, Bruno.
That lead you past colourful flowers, peaceful ponds, and an impressive collection of handcraft iron sculptures, each with its own unique design. It almost feels like wandering through a little open-air gallery. But as nice as the gardens were, we could already smell lunch. And this is what we'd come here to try, the famous flaming chicken. And yes, they actually set the chicken on fire before serving it. And along with the flaming chicken, which they coat in that lovely sauce, we ordered a few other dishes, which were absolutely fantastic, really flavoursome. Including these giant prawns kindly presented by Phung and Fun, which looked a little bit more like lobsters than prawns. Then it was time for a quick selfie before we took him outside to see some more fish. We've got lots more things coming up for you here.
On to the next spot.
Like the next place we're going, which is called Huai Nam Sai Market. However, there was just one problem. We'd arrived a little bit too late, and the market was already closed. But rather than turn around and give up, we found somewhere nearby that turned out to be a really pleasant surprise, which was this place that was still open called Coffee Mat. I was quite surprised with this cafe, as it was quite modern considering its very rural location. Fun took responsibility and ordered drinks for us. as well as a couple of little snacks. And it even gave our driver, Jamun, a chance to get behind the coffee machine and try his hand at being a barista.
Can I have an Americano, please?
Although, I think I'll stick to driving if I were you, Jaman. And this place has got some beautiful gardens, which would be awesome to sit out in if it wasn't rainy season, as the grounds were completely flooded. So rather than exploring outside, we found a cosy spot inside where Bruno had plenty of space to run around, while we enjoyed a well-earned coffee and a little sweet treat. And then came another unexpected Thai toilet experience.
Best toilets in Thailand.
I never thought I'd be admiring the countryside from a toilet, but Thailand never seems to run out of surprises. As the rain showed no signs of letting up, and after one final group photo from the ladies,
say cheese,
we climbed back into the minivan and made our way to the accommodation for the night. And as we left Huai Nam Sai Market behind, it would have been nice to see the market when it was open and the weather was a little bit kinder. But that said, don't let the rainy season put you off visiting. Our home for the night was the Royal Goodview Resort, where we were greeted by friendly staff and handed our room key and whisked up to our accommodation by golf cart.
You alright, Fang?
yes, I'm good.
We're staying in the Wellington residence, and even with the rain pouring down, we could already tell that this was going to be a great place to stay.
This is us, Bruno.
The room came with Wi-Fi and, rather unexpectedly, a swing in the middle of the room, which is perfect if you ever fancy practicing guitars and impressions.
A little swing.
There was also a huge bathtub that we couldn't wait to try later, and a rooftop terrace which has fantastic views across the countryside. And the only thing that had me slightly worried were these concrete steps. I won't be going down them after a few too many beers. And considering everything that came with the room, we were expecting this place to cost quite a bit more, but our Wellington residence cost us just 2,000 baht for the night. And with plenty of open space outside, it was the perfect place for Bruno to burn off some energy before it got dark. As a resort's also home to a small farm, we took Bruno to meet one of the horses. There's usually sheep here too, but because of the heavy rain they were tucked safely away indoors. Don't worry, because tomorrow we'll be visiting a sheep farm, which had a few surprises. And after saying goodbye to our new four-legged friend and ordering some dinner, it was finally time to go and relax for the evening.
Right, say good night, everybody.
And I'll put the costs onto the screen for you now of what it cost us for the first day of this trip in Ratchaburi. And I'll continue this tomorrow and give you the full cost of the entire trip at the end of the video. But tomorrow will be an earlier start because we're heading to one of the most unique markets in Ratchaburi, where monks arrive by floating down the river. So into day 2 now, which got off to an early and very wet start.
Good morning.
As we prepare to take you to one of the highlights of this trip, which is Oh Poi Market. Despite the rain, this was one place that we definitely didn't want to miss. After a quick ride from our room on the resort's golf cart, we met up with everyone and jumped in the minivan.
Good morning.
And set off on the 40-minute drive. But this isn't just any market. There's a good reason that people are willing to get up before sunrise and travel here every weekend. Visitors come here not only to explore the market, but to take part in a beautiful merit-making tradition where monks from the nearby monastery make their way down the river on traditional bamboo rafts. And this was something we'd been looking forward to experiencing. So let's show you exactly what it's like. The market itself is free to enter, and if you'd like to make merit, the first thing you do is to purchase an offering basket for the monks. These cost 49 baht and contain a selection of food and other items. Each basket also includes a flower, which represents respect, gratitude, and the temporary nature of life. Before making the offerings, it's also traditional to hold the basket up to your forehead as a gesture of respect. You can also make a wish or dedicate the merit to your family or loved ones. And now, the moment we've been waiting for, the monks arriving. We joined the queue and waited for our turn to make our offerings. Although the line might look quite long, it moves surprisingly quickly. Before entering the area where the offerings are made, we also removed our shoes as a sign of respect. Then, one by one, we made our way down to the riverbank and offered our basket to the monks. Afterwards, everyone took a seat and received a blessing as the monks recited traditional Buddhist prayers. It was a really peaceful and memorable experience, and one of the highlights of our entire trip to Ratchaburi. With the ceremony over, it was finally time to explore everything else Oh Poi Market had to offer. And almost immediately, something caught my attention. These two young lads who were entertaining visitors and earning themselves a little extra pocket money at the same time. Good for them. But of course, the real challenge at any Thai market is trying to resist the food. And there was certainly no shortage of it here, with everything from noodle soups and grilled meats to local snacks and plenty of sweet treats. I couldn't resist trying these Thai-style mini crepes for just 30 baht. They were light, fluffy and, as you'd probably expect from a Thai dessert, very sweet. So definitely a thumbs up from me. As we continued wandering through the market, we found even more delicious looking food, including some freshly grilled chicken that smelled absolutely incredible and tasted pretty good too. But the food wasn't the only thing that made Oh Poi Market interesting. You may notice these colourful string decorations hanging around the market. They're known as Kang Dong and are part of the local Karen culture traditions. There's actually a lot more to the history and traditions of Oh Poi Market, but rather than go into all of that detail here, we've made a separate video dedicated entirely to this fascinating place. But moving on, and speaking of things that I needed to find, I couldn't find any toilets inside the market. But luckily there was a monastery just across the road, which apparently had some, so I headed off in search of one. And on the way, I got to see the beautiful monastery where some of the monks had started their journey down the river earlier that morning. Toilet mission accomplished, I headed back to meet everyone, where Pung and Fun had decided to get into the spirit of the market by getting one of these little traditional tattoos.
This is us. Let's go.
And while they'd been enjoying themselves, Jiman had been patiently waiting to take us back to the hotel.
I think this is the wettest we've seen it in Thailand. It is rainy season.
Even though we'd already eaten, it'd be rude not to. With the rain showing no signs of stopping, we checked out of the hotel and headed to what would turn out to be one of the biggest surprises of this trip. And that was to this place called the Scenery Vintage Farm. Tickets range from 150 to 250 baht, but we'd recommend the XL combo ticket. As you'll soon see, it includes a lot and it's easily the best value ticket. We started with a quick coffee break, and after seeing the homemade cakes and brownies on display, resisting dessert wasn't really an option. And although we've never been to a sheep show before, it turned out to be one of the highlights of this trip. It started off with balancing sheep. And one sheep that might actually be smarter than me. For a sheep show, this was far more entertaining than we expected. And one moment that had us wondering if these sheep were actually about to jump through a ring of fire. Come on, you can do it. Or maybe not. Oh, there we go. And this show kept Bruno quiet for a while. There was also sheep shearing and many more things, but we haven't got all day here, so let's move on to the next part of this farm. And the XL ticket also included food to feed the animals. For a couple of tokens off your ticket, you got some milk and some grass.
I will go feed the sheep.
And judging by these sheep's enthusiasm, they definitely weren't on a diet. I noticed we still had some game tickets to use, so that's what we'll go and do next. Hum stepped up first and somehow knocked every can down in one go.
Wow!
And Bruno got his first prize for the day, but could we win him any more? Naturally, Fang and I couldn't let Pum have all the glory, so we tried our hand at a few of the games. I couldn't bring it home on the can knockdown. But could Fang bring it home on the wheel spin? Maybe not. Or maybe she could win on throwing the darts.
Come on, Fang, there you go. Yes! Nearly.
Although there was one final challenge that wasn't included in the ticket, which was this archery. And for 100 baht, I thought I'd give it a go. So after some expert instruction on how to use this thing, it was time to see if we could win a prize.
Ooh! Wow! อะไรนะคะ
Unfortunately, there wasn't enough arrows to bring home the toy for little Bruno this time round.
Alright, so we've still got some tickets to use. What have we got? Merry-go-round, an appetizer. Oh, the French fries are up this way. 𝐾𝐀𝐂𝐄𝐒, French fry. Popcorn card. Now we've got to use the ice cream. Chocolate. Popcorn card.
Just as we'd finished our ice cream, the sheepdog demonstration was about to begin, where we watched these incredibly well-trained dogs round up a flock of ducks. Rather impressive seeing that live, I must say. With one last ride on the carousel, our time at the Scenery Vintage Farm had come to an end. Before heading back to Bangkok, we made one final stop for lunch, where Pum was the lucky one to be served the fish head.
Pum's the lucky one, he's got the head.
This food was delicious, and as always, being Thailand, it was at a very reasonable cost. And speaking of cost, after 2 days, all the food, accommodation, activities and travelling, how much did this entire Ratchaburi adventure cost us? It came to 8,380 baht. Or if you're watching from America, it was $252. Or £188.05 in Great British pounds. And for everything that we managed to see and do, I think that was pretty good value for money. So can you really experience the best of Ratchaburi in just 2 days? After everything we've seen, I'd say absolutely. And we look forward to taking you with us on another adventure. So thank you very much for watching. It does mean a lot. And as always, we shall see you on the next video.
แล้วพรุ่งนี้ทุกคนก็รอคอยอยู่เลยนะ
Are you doing the washing? Might go soon, but brakes work. It's my first beer as well. Look at the head on that.